Fuck. Damn it. Helmo, thank you for the tier 1. I appreciate it. Tetra, thank you for gifting that sub. And thank you for the tier 2 for 3 months. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Ooh. Story's not finished. It was not, unfortunately. What to do, chat? What to do? Maybe we'll show up for the meeting. I don't know. Had police tell me to get out of my wheelchair once because they thought you were lying. That's fucked up. Pulled over for going 54 and a 55. Then when he asked for my ID, I unbuckled my seatbelt to get my wallet. It looks like I'll have to. The Soul. I actually saw it was on TikTok actually. There was a lady driving I guess her husband owns a dealership, probably like a used car lot type deal. She was driving I think it was a Jeep. She got pulled over, and her vehicle was now in park. She immediately took her seatbelt off, and the cop's justification behind the stop was no seatbelt. And here's the reality. In most situations like that, like, who knows, maybe, let's say it was for speeding. Let's say the cop did see that person speeding, right? But didn't clock them for whatever reason. Let's say their radar or whatever was facing the wrong direction, whatever it is, right? Like, I can see a cop making that assumption, but like, I'm a be real. That's fucked. I do it as Rhodes all the time. I do it as Rhodes, but like, Rhodes will drop whatever he can't prove. Got to renew my license once. I was 2 blocks from my house. Cop said I had to walk home instead of just giving me an escort. So stress. I guess the escort part is kind of problematic. Not problematic, but like, I think one of the, I guess, concerns is more so that oftentimes we don't really know how they've been instructed to deal with things. So for example, let's say, I don't know if they get on duty and have like a debrief of what's happened over the past, whatever shift. But let's say, for whatever reason, their superiors are like, listen, if people do not have IDs or, expired IDs, whatever, do not let them drive. I mean, they're not going to put their job on the line for someone they don't know, right? Now, I think an escort would be reasonable in a situation like that, depending on circumstance. I suppose it could be exactly. That's the other thing. And unfortunately, stress. A lot of people are unwilling to accept the consequences of their own actions, right? A lot of people in your exact circumstance. Let's say something did happen. Let's say you ended up rear-ending someone, or you pulled in front of someone making a U-turn to head back to your house, right? Suddenly, it goes from, I was given leniency and sort of the ability to drive to my house, even though I legally shouldn't have been, right? But people will then go, you know what? That cop never should have let me drive. Legally, I had no means to drive. The cop told me I could. It's his fault. It's their fault, right? Which is unfortunately why a lot of times, certain things just aren't done nowadays. In 3.0, I always used to say people always used to cry for consistency within the police department, but that's not what people are actually looking for. What people are looking for is they want leniency when it benefits them, but when it doesn't benefit them, they want no leniency for anybody else. What I mean by that is, if someone gets pulled over, right? Consistency means that there is no warning anytime someone gets pulled over. 36 under 35, citation, right? That is consistency. If there was someone who was injured in your vehicle heading over to, you know, the hospital or whatever, sort of back at square one. If you were speeding to do so, again, the justification is like you're placing the lives of others in danger. Citation. You can probably get by with that one, but like the point I'm trying to make is consistency literally means that you will know the outcome every single time, right? And people only complain about consistency 9 times out of 10 when they do not get the level of leniency they've seen with other people. What you really are asking for is everybody to be lenient in a lot of those situations, right? Like that's what people's like concept of consistency is, but that's not it. I was also pulling out of my own driveway. 2 cops blocked my driveway and had me prove I lived in my house before they let me leave. I just walked back in, pet my Doberman, and said, "Is this fine?" I mean, that doesn't really make sense to me, unless there were other circumstances. For example, why do I have so many fucking examples? This is actually an IRL example, chat. I went to go get food. I got pulled over by a completely unmarked CVPI. IRL, again. I pull into a parking lot because we're on a fairly busy road. Pull into a parking lot. Now, I don't know if I think I've explained. Yeah, I've explained. The person who steps out of the car has a vest that says gang unit. Okay? Now, I'm thinking, what the fuck did I do? I'm not getting, like, I wasn't speeding, but, like, even if it was speeding, why am I, like, hello? What's going on? Here's the context. Dude comes up to the car. He's like, you know, actually, before the whole license registration, he did ask for my ID. He's like, is this your vehicle? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, then why is it reported stolen? I was like, what do you mean reported stolen? I've never reported my vehicle stolen. He goes, your vehicle is reported stolen. And I was like, that is literally not possible. So here's what actually happened, chat. Somebody stole an identical year, make, model of my vehicle and color, to be exact. They then, so you have to realize when someone's vehicle is missing, that person is immediately going to call the police and inform them that their car is missing, right? What they then did was they found my vehicle, an identical year, make, model. They took the plates off my car. They put them on the stolen car. So visually, the stolen car now looks legitimate because when that plate gets, like, ran, it's going to look legitimate. If it goes through a toll, that plate isn't reported stolen. The police aren't going to get notified, right? If there's a cop with an ALPR that's immediately scanning all the plates around, it's not going to flag. And they put the stolen plates on my car because I am not reading my license plate. We have in my state, we have a front and rear plate. I'm not reading my license plate, chat, when I go to my car. I'm not like, oh, you know, XYZ 123. Yep, that's mine. Let me check the back one. No, that's so. So that happened. The cop then took the plates off my car, rightfully so. And was like, listen, here's my card. If anybody pulls you over, he said, get your food, head over to the police station, report your plate stolen, blah, blah, blah. Here's my card. If anyone gives you any issues, just have them call me. I was like, oh, perfect. All right. So the order was, I went to the police station to report them stolen. I went to the RMV to get new plates and then home from there. No, you cannot get your original plates back. I had to get completely new plates. Started checking mine after you told the story a while ago. It's crazy, but think about it, right? When you go over to your car, you don't check. You can, like, in your peripheral, you see that your car has plates. I never check, right? Hell, I see my plate almost every day when I go to my vehicle, but I'm not reading it. I see a plate there. I'm not going to question it. But yeah, that happened. That happened. That was an interesting one. That was an interesting one. This is a Honda by chance? No, it was not. Hondas in my area are stolen. Well, the cars aren't necessarily stolen a lot, but actually a lot of car manufacturers nowadays, Honda, Toyota, any major car manufacturer, they're like sport variant or like they're good looking wheels that aren't hubcaps are like increasingly more common for them to get stolen. End up having to change all your insurance info and everything? No. So in my state, thankfully, we don't have, for example, we don't have insurance cards because your insurance is attached to your registration. So when they take your registration to their car and run the information or run the plate, which they can already do beforehand, they already see all the insurance related information. Insurance doesn't care about your license plate at all, really. He's having huge issues with theft lately, really amping up. I mean, that's the whole like Kia boy fucking theft shit. Now I will say this. So the program shit that I have on my car, which allows me to like change settings that that are available outside of the US but aren't available in the US, for example, recently added the ability to add keys to your car. I may, by the way, chat, we're not jumping back into GTA. I might jump into something here shortly, but we're just going to talk for a bit. So, with the ability to add new keys, to my benefit, I actually had a lot of like 6 Volvo keys because when I first bought my first Volvo, the key fob, like the plastic pieces, one of them was cracked, right? And Volvo wanted like 200 fucking bucks for 2 plastic shell pieces, okay? I was like, that is absurd. So I go onto eBay. Someone was selling a lot of like 6 of them. And all I needed was, it was like 80 bucks or something. I don't really remember. It was a while ago. Not that I needed all of them, but I was like, well, fuck, if I drop it, something cracks, I'll have replacements. It's better than paying 8 or 200 bucks for 2 plastic pieces, right? Come to find out, with this program, I can program new keys, right? I now have 6 extra keys for my car that I've paid $80 for. Doesn't require programming, doesn't require anything really. But here's where it gets a little tricky. Volvo came out with an identical, they're identical. Visually, they don't look the same. There's a model number that is 1 or 2 characters different. And what it does is it prevents the key from pretty much giving any sort of signal that can be repeated while it's not moving. So, y'all have seen, actually, the no pixel, like, vehicle theft things, those 31s that we're responding to, and we call it the plankton device, that shit. That is becoming increasingly more common, where people literally like stand outside of a house with like a backpack trying to get the key fob signal to a car that's being repeated right next to the car. And then they get in, they start it, and then they just drive off with your car with no key, right? So the counter to that, in this case, would be me getting the newer variant of the key, which cuts the signal when there's no movement in the actual key, and then programming all those. Husband has a 2020 Hyundai. We had to renew our car insurance back in December. Only one insurance company covers us. Yeah. That is, Curdy, that is 100% a thing. I know of major insurance companies that are no longer covering some of those vehicles as a result of the thefts. That is crazy. And the thefts are, well, okay. I'm at least referring to the ones that had the issue of like literally pulling the button off and like plugging in a USB thing or whatever. It's also a special key that'll take the signal, then store it in the fob, acting like the OG key. Oh, jeez. They generalize those cars versus the models people own. Oh, 100%. So Curdy, I could be wrong here, but I suspect that is more so because they how do I word this? They okay, so their model most times, I would assume, is, for example, you'll see that there's typically discounts with your insurance policy for certain things if your vehicle has certain equipment, right? But if you consider like what you're actually being charged, like the base, like pay, not pay, but like the base amount stays the same, but then you get reductions for things you have, right? So let's say it costs $1,000 to insure you and your vehicle, 800 of which is insuring your vehicle and the coverage it has, right? It'll be like, X amount off because you have curtain airbags, or like uh the ability to track your vehicle, stuff like that. So I would imagine it's because they really are kind of just all sort of grouped together. Legends has all the safety features in it. Oh, 100%. I will say, new Kias and Hyundais, I think they've taken a lot of risks with some of their designs. I actually think a lot of their vehicles look really fucking good. But with the engine related issues I've seen with Kia, I'm a little sus. Definitely a little sus. All the stress, money, and drama I've put off learning how to drive for so long. So Gold, I'm not sure where you're at, but I will say this: at least in the U.S., insurance rates typically drop once you've been driving for a certain amount of time. However, that time is not just based on age; it's based on how long you've actually been insured. So what I'm saying here is, in the US, someone who is 40 years old with no prior driving history is going to get like screwed. Uh, Curdy, I think it's 6. I think there's a drop off at 5 for certain things, and then 6 for the remainder, I believe. But Curdy, you're also in Mass, right? Mass Mass is actually very, very nuanced when it comes to insurance. Um, like very nuanced. For example, in a lot of other states, um, they only offer 6-month policies. In Mass, they're required to offer both 6 and 12-month policies. And the 12-month policy it's literally just double. So you're pretty much locking in a rate for a longer period of time. In addition, when it comes to car insurance, hold on one second. Everybody buy a car has a non-interference motor or not, because if it is, the time belt breaks, it doesn't nuke the engine. I think the likelihood of something like that happening is fairly slim. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. If the belt breaks, the engine is dead. Poof, gone. It's fucked. But I mean, the same thing applies to or not belt, sorry, chain. It's a chain, right? Am I wrong? Hold up. Let's see. Some have chains, some have belts. All I know is that one specific kind of engine, like type of engine, if whatever that is breaks, you're fucked. There's no coming back from that. But what was I saying? I'd mentioned car insurance with, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought, chat. What was it? So Mass, they're required to offer 6 and 12-month policies. So again, you're locking in the rate for an entire year. Now, they don't often tell you, but consider this. If you do have a 6-month policy, I don't know about y'all, but it doesn't look like the price of anything coming down anytime soon. All right. I don't know when the last time y'all looked at your like auto insurance policies and saw the price drop, but it probably ain't gonna be anytime soon, at least in my experience, right? So I always get a 12-month policy. They're definitely going up. Exactly. So what you're doing by getting a 12-month policy is locking in that rate for that additional time, right? In Massachusetts, they don't do a credit check. It is they cannot do a credit check. In a lot of other states, it's actually like fucking so foreign to me. A credit check for insurance? What the fuck? Hello? Yes, I never realized it too, but apparently it's a very common thing. Very common. And okay, chat. I need y'all to pay attention here. This is important. I understand that for a lot of people, money is tight. Okay? But I promise you, if you were to change, because a lot of people carry state minimums for car insurance, right? Here's the thing. Depending on state, that state minimum can be very fucking low. Very fucking low. I promise you the price difference between property damage at state minimum versus property damage at like $100,000 is way fucking different. Okay? I don't know about y'all, okay, but I'm not risking anything nowadays, all right? I could be the safest driver on the road. If there is black ice hidden under a tiny layer of snow and I fucking slide down a hill with no ability to control my vehicle and sideswipe 5 cars, okay? I promise you, the painting of 2 doors on a single vehicle will probably outweigh the state minimums in certain states for a single vehicle. And I promise you the price difference per month is a few dollars to bump up the property damage. People don't realize it. Property damage, it does not cost much to increase from $10,000-$20,000 to $100,000. I don't know. Just for me, the peace of mind is everything. Especially with the price of vehicles nowadays, that shit's fucked. That shit's fucked. And remember, it's not like, oh, I hit their bumper, right? Wasn't Rivian, let's see, Rivian bed replacement. Here's why that Rivian R1T repair costs $42,000 after just a minor fender bender. And it's because it's not just the damage you've caused, right? You have to take into account all of the money associated with labor for that repair. While it may look like a small repair, okay, if you rear end a Rivian R1T, it's not a matter of just pulling off a small fender. It's not. The whole thing has to be taken apart, which I think is fucking stupid, right? I think when you're building something, you should definitely take into account repair, right? But if you're sitting at, let's say, I want to say in my state, it's probably $20,000 for state minimums. $42,000 is what would be covered, or not covered, expected. You will be on the hook personally for $22,000. And again, the price difference, I implore y'all to check with your insurance companies right now. If you have an app, whatever it is, look at, what the quote would be between what you currently have and with your property damage maxed out. Most insurance companies do 100. Very few go beyond that without specific justification or whatever. They can still go over, but $42,000, minor fender bender. No, thank you. You know what? State property damage minimums per state. All right. Minimums. It doesn't tell me the actual. All it says is minimum liability limits. Is this first number? This first number has to be property damage that I'm seeing. Also pay for extra insurance for injuries. Oh, 100%. I do as well. But that one adds up considerably more. What I'm trying to get across mostly is that state minimums, more often than not, are not anywhere. If what I'm looking at is correct, I'm going to read off state minimums just down the line, okay, for property damage. Let's see. Property damage. 20 the number I'm saying is in thousands. So if I say 25 is 25k. 25, 25, 15, 25, 5. That is fucking crazy. You can probably barely replace a fucking bumper nowadays. And that's in California. What the fuck? California 5, 15, 25, 10, 25, 10, 15, 20, 25, 15, 25, 25, 25, 25, 15, 5. Oh, I guess. Damn, state minimums really are rough. 10, 10, 25, 25, 20, 25, 25, 5, 10, 10, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25. Why are a lot of like Northeast states 5,000? Oh my gosh. Except Rhode Island, 25, I guess. Bump it back up. 25, 25, 15, 25, 15, 10, 20, 10, 10, 25, 10, and 20. Okay? That is mind-blowing. $10,000. Okay, if you get into any accident, I guarantee the property damage is going to likely exceed that. That is fucked. What was Rhode Island's? 25. Mass was listed as 5. And those are state minimums. Working accounts with this is a small business. Oh. We would do credit checks for phone contracts in the UK. Oh my gosh. What? But hold up. Oh, chat. Look at this. Look at this. This right here. I'm gonna post it in chat. That right there, chat. That's the